A lot of people like to tell me that Quant is cooked, but I actually think about it the opposite way. I think on the contrary, it's actually cooking. The reason why? A lot of other projects out there are chasing retail hype. They're trying to chase, the next celebrity or athlete to talk about their project. But you know what Quant does? They flip the script and they actually focus on enterprise adoption, and they're still building. And I think that right there is sometimes key and integral to actually a project making it through a market downturn. Now, I'll explain all about what I think about this, my perspective and my opinion in today's video, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Again, this is just my personal opinion. But Quant, it's easy to say it's cooked as of right now. It's below $80. But we sometimes don't really consider the fundamental achievements that it has. But we're talking about a project here that historically has seen a very amazing partnership when it comes to Oracle. I mean, come on, Oracle, it's literally one of the biggest companies out there in the world. It's really massive. And historically, we've seen Oracle and Quant's partnership. Really impressive, in my opinion. And let's take this also into consideration. Oracle's really focused on AI. And Quant, I think, makes it so that it actually could very well be a perfect environment for developers who are looking to be focused on the AI space, especially when it comes to this particular space, I would say. The reason being is because if we take a look at, for instance, the Overledger network and the Overledger OS, they are both what makes up the Quant network. But unlike a lot of other places out there that kind of make it so that developers have to build only on just one blockchain, the Overledger OS flips the script and says, you know what? There's something called a multi-chain application that can be built. Imagine this. I'm a developer. I want to build an application on a certain place, but then I'm stuck with that one blockchain. It could be cool. Maybe I might like the scalability. Maybe I like the speed, but maybe I don't really like the gas fees. Now that's an issue. That's a kind of deal breaker sometimes. But on the flip side, maybe I like the gas fees. Maybe I like the speed, but sometimes it's maybe not scalable. Now that's another deal breaker. Maybe I go to a different place. Maybe I like the fees, maybe I like the scalability, but it's not fast. So that's not that good, right? But when it comes to the Overledger OS, imagine, maybe in a pure hypothetical, I'm just going to use this as an example. I can build an application that takes advantage of the speed of the Stellar blockchain, which is really fast, allegedly, while at the same time taking advantage of the security of the Bitcoin blockchain. Now that's a little bit of a game changer right there. Is it necessarily seeing the best adoption though? Absolutely not. But sometimes in a totally different scenario, great things in some instances do take time and patience. Great things take time, maybe, sometimes. So this is why when it comes to Quant, people say it's cooked, the adoption isn't the best, it's below $80. I totally get that argument, but Quant behind the scenes is doing a lot of things fundamentally. And we have to consider, they are allegedly the pioneers when it comes to blockchain interoperability. And lacking interoperability is a big issue currently. A lot of blockchains out there, there's a lot of networks, a lot of them can't freely interact with each other because inherently they're independent of each other. In some cases, if that is the case and they can't freely interact with each other, they do lack interoperability. It's a major hindrance as of right now when it comes to this space. So when we take a look at Quant, it's trying to revolutionize things that goes beyond a random billboard advertisement or goes beyond, let's say, hiring a celebrity or an athlete. They're thinking about things in a different level. They're just thinking about this more so about the longevity. Other projects out there, they're maybe focused on, I don't know, random nonsense, but this one just doesn't seem like that is the case to me. So is it really cooked? I don't really think about it that way. I think if anything, it's actually cooking because the fundamentals are still there. Did you know that for Quant to go to the price of $200, considering the current circulating supply, the market cap at that point would be around 2.4 billion? Let's just say for simplicity's sake, it's around 2.5 billion. That isn't such an outlandishly ridiculous amount that we've never ever seen before. Quant has reached well over that in the past, and we're clearly around 3 times lower than $200 as of right now when it comes to Quant. So is like around a 2.5 billion market cap so outrageous? Is it so out of this world? Not necessarily, in my opinion, especially for a project with around 165,000 holders, which Quant has almost, with the fundamentals that it has, and also with the historical notoriety that it has in the past. It doesn't seem like that is such an outlandish amount if there was an altcoin season, but that's just only time will tell in a pure hypothetical. Let's just take this into consideration. Dogecoin reached over 80 billion in terms of market cap back in 2021. So clearly around 40 times more than 2 billion. We've seen Shiba Inu in 2021 reach a market cap of around 40 billion. So clearly around 20 times more than a 2 billion market cap. Now, those are memes, and I'm just using that as an example because they're really famous and a lot of people know what that is. And again, around a 2 billion market cap, or around 2.5 billion, I should say. In some instances, if someone said, oh, Pepe, hypothetically around a 2.5 billion market cap, some people out there would consider that bearish if they were taking a look at that in the context of an altcoin season. So what, it's suddenly bearish when it comes to Pepe, but suddenly overly enthusiastic when it comes to Quant? We've literally seen Quant far exceed that in the past. And people like to say, wow, like if Quant just goes to, let's say, $200, okay, we're almost 3 times lower than that. That's so embarrassing. They like to say that. Is it really though? Because if Bitcoin were to go back to its all-time high, it's not even 2 times lower than that currently. And suddenly people will find that to be one of the greatest things of all time. But suddenly when it comes to Quant, if it even does, like, hypothetically, let's say around a 400% movement or whatever, it's considered embarrassing. But when it comes to Bitcoin not even being 2 times lower than its all-time high, but goes back to that, it's considered a big celebration. How does that make sense? That's just my mindset, right? Like, I don't get it. A 400% movement at the end of the day, from whatever project it is, it's still a 400% movement. I mean, I'm not going to say it's embarrassing for a certain instance and not for the other. It doesn't make sense. Personally, my mindset is I just don't find that to be like a bad, I guess, movement, hypothetically. But we'll wait and see as of right now. But here's the thing. Quant being below $80, is that necessarily a bad thing? I mean, for exiting, yeah, I think so. Personally, for me, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but for dollar cost averaging, I don't know if I mind, because I don't mind, actually. I mean, if my favorite pair of jeans had a discount, I'd be so happy. But this one is a bit of a different case. Usually within this space, people don't really like discounts, but I've managed to kind of change the way I think and view it no different, as if I was acquiring jeans or shoes or something like that, in which case I would like a discount when it comes to that. I kind of view it no differently here. Now, of course, initially when I first entered into this space, I wasn't such a fan of the quote-unquote dip, but eventually I realized that, Warren Buffett likes a dip when it comes to stocks. Some of these legends in the world of stocks, they are legends because they did focus during the dip. Not in every single case it works well, though. Even Warren Buffett, he's a legend, right? Of course, we know how well he's done just historically. But remember not too long ago when he doubled down on newspapers, basically, when a lot of people were leaving newspapers? Not such a good thing. Now, that's a case of believing in the dip too much, right? Maybe, that's the way I take a look at it. Maybe he was like, oh, wow, people are leaving newspapers. That's a dip. Yeah, that's a bad example of believing in the dip. But in some cases, or should I say in a lot of cases, when it comes to Warren Buffett, was acquiring Coca-Cola stocks, or let's say Berkshire Hathaway acquiring Apple stocks, was that a bad thing in hindsight? Not really. It did seem maybe like a bad idea at the time because a lot of people were like, whoa, it's not doing the best. But right now, it doesn't seem like a bad idea. Now, the newspapers one, that was not such a good idea on his part. But other than that, not bad, I guess, when it comes to believing in the dip. But yeah, that's besides the point though. However, I just felt like making this video because a lot of people have been asking me, is Quant cooked? But I just don't seem to think that way. And I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.